Do you want to come over here?
Yeah, go
All right. Let me make sure we're live. Yep, we got audio, and we got a stream. All right. Good evening. We're getting close to 7 o'clock. Barry, the storms, right on cue, ramp up. Kind of at the last possible moment, there's a short window here where we could see some severe weather, and we're seeing some.
Yeah, a little bit, and some sun out here. It is warm, but once these storms, I think, get into the Little Rock area and eastward, a lot of the mechanism for severe weather, I think, starts to go away. So these have a
Yeah.
short time that they could actually get a little bit stronger.
Yeah, further east from Little Rock you get, the parameters just drop off. So
Yeah.
it's like right here the storms have to be severe or they're not going to be severe, and they're ramping up. New severe thunderstorm warning for the metro area. This is looking towards the west. We're looking towards the base of the storms that are just west of Little Rock, and the tornado watch. Well, it's been a big tornado day nationally. The tornado watch in Arkansas just really covers a few counties, Pulaski County being one of them, and they're not expecting the severe threat to really extend beyond central Arkansas.
Right, because look at east of Grant County and east of Pulaski County. The watch is just a short-term watch, and like you said, east of that corridor, then, yeah, rain, some thunderstorms, yeah, but severe weather threats are going to be minimal. I think there's wind, if I had to guess, the south of Malvern, near Malvern there.
Yeah.
Arkadelphia had a 46-mile-per-hour gust, and I think that's at least possible down there. That is not severe criteria, but it can knock around your lawn furniture.
One thing we're watching is this little storm out here to the west of Chenal Mountain. There's not been a whole lot of velocity with that. It doesn't look very impressive when you put the wind on there. But we'll watch that. We'll see if it can rotate. So far, really nothing's been able to rotate. But there is some hail in some of this stuff. It does look like quarter-size hail could be falling out of this. And Arkadelphia, you said, had a 40, 46-mile-per-hour wind gust earlier. So there's a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings along this line. And this line is quickly advancing towards the east. There's another part of the line down near Texarkana that's probably got a lot of wind with it as well. So, Barry, the area of the state that we thought was going to have severe weather, being west of Little Rock, is not going to get any because they had heavy rain all afternoon.
Nothing happened until these storms, this impulse got out to where we had heat, where it didn't rain earlier, and now it's in a richer environment, just as far as heat and humidity is concerned. But yeah, it just rained in western Arkansas.
We could show you what we're talking about. Look
Yeah.
at the rain-cooled air over West Arkansas, still sitting at 79 here in Little Rock. So that's why we've got storms. And again, we don't break into TV for severe thunderstorm warnings unless it is very life-threatening. These, you just step inside and you're fine. You just don't want to be caught outside in these. But a tornado warning, when it becomes life-threatening, will absolutely get on air. We have the NFL draft tonight. And obviously, if we go on air, that is also being simulcast on ESPN. So,
right, and that'll be going on for a long time. We'll actually be on late tonight at 10:30. So after the draft, the second and third rounds, I believe, is tonight. So we have video to show you from Iowa. It's been
oh my goodness,
unbelievable.
Let's just go ahead and show you the video from Scott Hollinger.
Yeah,
that is up in Shelby, Iowa. This is not a live look or anything of anything in Arkansas right now. That's Shelby, Iowa.
Wasn't that long ago, but yeah, this has been now this is in farmland. You can see a lot of cornfields there, but in Omaha, at least on the north side of town, and I think through downtown, wow, look at that.
Yeah,
there was damage.
There are so many tornado reports from that part of the country
Yeah.
Today, and if you didn't know, I spent 22 hours on the road yesterday to Kansas and back to Storm Chase, and I didn't see a thing.
Oh, that's the nature of storm chasing.
Sometimes. But today was a different level. There's probably some catastrophic damage up there, and you hate to see that. That's a very strong tornado, and you hope it just stayed out over open fields. But that comes to us from our friend, storm chaser Scott Hollinger from Grant County. Always great to I've been out with him before. He's a great storm chaser, and he's done some great work for us. So back to the radar we go. We'll just do one more little look of it before it kind of starts to come into the metro area here. We're getting close, Barry, to 7 o'clock, and I think peak time for this is going to be what, 7 to 8 p.m.?
I think we're probably at peak time right now.
Yeah.
And maybe for another 30 minutes.
Yeah. You know, it's right here, right now, and it's starting to look like these cores are a little bit more intense. Maybe some hail embedded within this. I was beginning to doubt whether we'd get a whole lot of rain, but we are. We're going to get some rain out of this.
At least briefly, yeah. They're starting to get they have a little more eastward momentum, so they're not going to stick around forever. But the storm track is to the northeast. But you can see that whole line is moving, I think, more east than it was earlier. Everything was just going to the northeast,
Yeah,
kinda following along.
It's moving northeast. I'll actually put a storm track on this for those of you that are at home. This hail core that's near Malvern is moving northeast, and it's moving at a good rate there. So it is going to get into the Little Rock area, and we think by 7:30 it's going to be rolling through here. Hopefully, won't rotate at all.
Yeah.
There are some things that would lead me to believe maybe some rotation would be possible in the next hour, but we have not seen that so far.
No, we haven't, and hopefully we won't. But there's a good amount of wind out of the south, and this is the leading edge. These storms will get some height to them, and I think we're starting to see that with a little more hail. So watch for hail and wind, and we're going to hope for the best and just prepare for that whole area.
Yeah, that whole area that's going northeast. So that there's kind of some of the times that you can expect with this line as it moves towards the northeast. And again, right now, there are no tornado warnings in effect. These are severe thunderstorm warnings. So it's going to get bumpy, lightning, hail, wind, but no tornado warnings and no immediate threat of a tornado. These will be close to Little Rock, 7:15 to 7:30, and then Jacksonville, Cabot after that.
It's not like up in Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa
Yes.
today. There were going to be long track tornadoes. If one occurs here, in all likelihood it would be smaller. Don't discount the fact that can be bad, but they're not going to be giant tornadoes that last forever. And so we want to, again, thanks for all of you tuning into us here. If we need to break in, we will.
Right, yeah, that's why we're doing this on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitter. We're also live on YouTube. And these are on my pages. You can find me on any of them, Meteorologist James Bryant. We just want all of you who are at home not to be scared or worried about the weather. And you know what, Barry? I tell people ask, do we need to change plans? Do I need to cancel this? I tell them no. You don't.
No.
You just need to know if this happens, have a separate plan, have something I'm going to do different.
Well, lightning and thunder is your warning, right? It's a great warning system, and we can then further warn you if there is something. But yeah, just get where you're going, and then it won't be here forever. But we do have some heavy rainfall. It could be some minor flooding there too. You can see that shelf cloud there, that kind of line.
Yeah.
That's just wind coming out of that system. So this would lead me to believe that we'll have some winds that are 40 to 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, Barry, look at the base of that storm. It's pretty impressive looking. That's looking west from Chenal Mountain. So that's over northern Saline County right now. But that's an impressive base to the storm there, and I don't see any type of wall cloud or any type of rotation. So it's a scary looking cloud. A lot of
It's a wind
times
producer when it looks like that.
Yeah, it's mistaken as a cloud that produces tornado, but it's not. It's kind of like what we saw move in here yesterday morning. So that's our best camera angle right now of what's moving into the metro area. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. But
what we look for is little indentations along that line, little notches, little eddies in the flow, like in a river. You can see the current, and then it runs backwards.
And I don't really see much of that.
I don't
right
either. We're going to watch the whole thing on up toward Mayflower and Conway. Yeah, I don't see much there that would lead me to believe.
Now we can look at the
anything's bad.
velocities,
Yeah.
and there's not a whole lot there as far as
I think
any
a 40
type of
mile per hour
rotation.
wind gust is
Yeah.
not out of the question, though.
Yeah,
With these.
and definitely some hail.
Yeah.
With that line extends all the way down to Sparkman. I think the strongest storm is the one coming through Malvern, and that's going to go on the south side of Benton and Bryant, and maybe up into the south side of Little Rock at its current rate. That's going to be, I would say, some quarter-size hail with that. At least that's what we have on our some of our other tools here. It's got 2-inch hail, possible up to 2-inch hail. I think it's going to be smaller than that. It's 1-inch hail now. But Barry, it's a Friday night, 7 o'clock. A lot of people outside. A lot of people might have plans. These storms continue to just rapidly move northeast. I don't think they're going to stick around in any one spot very long.
No, but in 45 minutes, it'll be into the Little Rock area, be over around Sheridan, East End. And hopefully by then you start to get into that time after 7:30. The sun angle starts to go down. Um, I don't know that these will be able to sustain themselves forever. But again, we're going to continue, and it'll be in the Little Rock area. So Little Rock, where's the designation there in Little Rock? Is that downtown Little Rock?
Yeah, and you'll notice it says UALR 612. I think that's a custom location set to a different time zone.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Little Rock at 7:15, ULR about the same time.
Benton coming into your town here just right now.
Very soon, and this is going to be gone within the hour. And I think as soon as it gets to the other side of the metro area, you're really going to see the severe threat drop pretty quickly. And we don't ever want you to risk life or limb for a picture, but if you happen to see something like small hail or you see a tree down after the fact, send it to us at KATV.com/chime-in. We want to see what you see. And also, we send your reports to the National Weather Service, and that lets them know if this severe thunderstorm warning is worth actually having a warning. Barry, and speaking of severe weather reports, we did have one earlier.
Yeah, over in Pike County. I believe there was a little bit of wind damage.
Yeah, it was this line. I think they had some trees down.
Yeah.
But this is just a good old spring thunderstorm. That's all this is. And there's the view from Chenal Mountain once again.
Yeah, in West Little Rock, you're going to see that. And in Malvern, you have seen that as it approached you. But that's a sign of wind. I don't see anything other than that.
No, you might see some low-hanging clouds
right
beneath that.
Just stuff that it looks like a funnel cloud, but
yeah, that's not rotating, and that's not a threat to produce any type of tornado.
No. You'll see things like that. That's some wind coming down out of the storm occasionally, some heavy rainfall, just little incongruities at the bottom of that cloud. But wind is going to be our biggest deal, I got to think, with this, and marginally severe
maybe quarter-sized hail.
Maybe at worst.
Yeah, so this is going to come in. I'm actually going to set the time lapse to record in West Little Rock. Our assignment desk manager just walked in, Matthew Sewell. We're live in advance and on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Do you have something for us?
I was going to say do a live.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a live. We're on top of it. Yeah, there's some lightning there. Yep.
A lot of lightning with it.
So I'll set the time lapse of that, and Barry, we can have that for later when these clouds roll through here. Of course, moving the camera around doesn't make for a good time lapse, but still. So there's the view. That's going into West Little Rock, and if you're not in the West Little Rock area, I'll show you the radar again. If you just happen to be joining us, there's a couple of severe storms rolling into the metro area. Right now, there is no rotation at all along this line. Now, could that change? We've seen things change to where you do need to watch, but right now, there's no areas of rotation along the line that we're watching for. In fact, the velocities all look pretty weak. There's definitely some wind, but not the rotating kind, at least not at the current.
Tornado watch has been extended to Faulkner, Jefferson.
Okay.
Perry, White.
So Barry giving me an update here. We've got a couple of counties added to the tornado watch. Faulkner County, White County, Lonoke County got added to the tornado watch. Now you see, the tornado watch is not very big because they do not expect this threat to continue for very long. So Jefferson County, Lonoke County, White County, I think that might be as far as this goes. The storms may continue on, but the severe threat may not. Those yellow boxes that you see there are the severe thunderstorm warnings. That's where the storms currently are. That's where we've got the possibility of some hail, some wind, and that includes Benton, Bryant, Malvern, West Little Rock, maybe up to southern Faulkner County, and then there's another severe storm down in the southwest part of the state, down the I-30 corridor. Back to radar. We'll just keep following this for you as it moves into the metro area. It's about to get very stormy out on Chenal Mountain. That's the first storm that's moving into the metro area. The next storm is coming up into southern Saline County, northwestern Grant County, and then up into Pulaski County. Good news, there hasn't been much rotation. Bad news is if you're out between 7 and 8 p.m., it could just ever so slightly disrupt your Friday evening plans. If you're headed to a restaurant or some type of event, just get inside. Get where you're going. It's not going to be fun to be outside in, that's for sure. It's been warm today, Barry. We've had temperature's close to 8. It's a pretty nice day here in Little Rock. It
Yeah.
rained all day off to the northwest.
It got warm after having a cool night last night. That warm front then
Yes.
lifted up very quickly, and you even early this morning it wasn't bad, but about between 6 and 8 it got just pretty steamy outside. I still don't see anything other than the wind threat. So coming into Poen, coming into Chenal Mountain area, we're going to lose our shot here in just a little bit as that rain starts to come down on top of Chenal Mountain and on our view there. But we'll look at other cameras that we have looking on out to the
And
west.
I just don't see any rotation at all along the
No.
line. So that's good news. It's not always about rotation, though. These are still some strong thunderstorms putting out plenty of lightning. And we'll go back to our Chenal camera because that's giving us a good view of the base of the storm that's headed our direction. We're starting to see quite a bit of lightning out of this. And that, everyone, if you're just joining us, is called a shelf cloud. It's that low-hanging, ragged base. It looks real scary. Sometimes people mistake it as a wall cloud, but that is a shelf cloud. And as I zoom this camera out, I think I am zoomed all the way out, it extends the entire base of the storm, and that's a good shot right there. You can see
Yeah,
it.
if it goes for a long distance like that, that's a shelf cloud. That's just a sign of wind that's going to be coming out, leading edge of the system as it moves on through. So don't be shocked when it pours. I had one gutter that I had to clean out today, James. That's
Yeah.
probably a smart thing.
It's very
that
smart.
I did that.
Yes.
Because there'll be some downpours here. We're just really hoping that, and again, the Weather Service issued or extended this watch just a little bit farther, just to take into effect that these storms may hang on for another 30, 45 minutes in a strong form. It's
Yeah.
a tornado watch area. I don't know. We'll continue to watch. Just
Yeah.
the leading edge.
See
of
that right
this.
there? That right there tricks people.
It tricks
What-
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
the,
even I pointed at it.
Yeah,
That's not a tornado.
That's just low-hanging. That's just a low-hanging cloud. See, we'll get a picture of it, and people be like, "I think I saw a funnel cloud." But
I think
really,
it was a funnel cloud.
if you look at the video, and we're looking at live video, it's not moving at all.
No,
You know,
no,
that's
it
how
just-
that's how you know.
It just hangs there. Right.
Something that's rotating, you will be able to tell. It'll be moving very quickly and very rapidly, and that's just not happening right here.
It kind of fools your eye too. At
It
this time of
does.
the day.
It grabs your attention, and no, this is the shelf cloud with the storm that's associated moving into West Little Rock. And if I take the wider view here, I mean, that's a mean-looking storm that is
Oh, it
moving into
is.
West Little Rock.
And the other thing that really makes these storms look so much worse is the sun's going down behind it, and you've got a ton of water. You got just a whole bunch of rain in there, and it blocks your view of the sun. So all of a sudden it gets dark, and you think, "Oh, this is the worst storm ever." Well, it's full of rain, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a severe storm. We may have no reports of severe weather with this. Winds of 59, 60 miles per hour. We may not have any of that, but wind. You can get limbs blown down with a wind a little bit less than that too. So it's going to get noisy.
Yeah, and it just looks like a solid line of storms. I don't see really many kinks in the line, and really the best shear is off towards the north and west where it rained all afternoon. Little Rock was like right on the edge of the best wind ingredients you need for tornadoes.
And you're saying that once it gets past the Little Rock area, that shear component,
It's gone, yeah.
which is necessary to get vertical height on storms and get a wind component or any rotation. And it just becomes very difficult when you get out of that environment. And that's great news. We're saying this. We're not disappointed. We're happy.
So actually, Barry, we were looking at the shelf cloud, and that line right there is the shelf cloud. You can
Yes.
actually see it on radar, and that's just wind that's pushing out, and so there's strong wind in there for sure. We'll go back to the camera view here. This strong winds is the main risk right now with this storm. We're looking out from the west. This is our Chenal Mountain weather cam. We're looking actually towards the west-northwest, and we'll turn it towards the west. You see the green colors, the low-hanging clouds. That's the big thunderstorm that's headed into West Little Rock right now. Again, we're not worried about tornadoes right now. This does not look to be the type of storm that does it, but it does look scary. And it's got a good chance to produce some high winds, heavy rain. Many areas in northern Pulaski County got 1 to 2 inches of rain yesterday.
Oh.
And, that's a good shot of that lightning, yeah.
Yeah.
From the downtown camera, which we can go to here.
I'm going to put that in your...
Yeah, there's a view from downtown. It's tough to see the shelf cloud, but you can just make it out to the west. There's a shelf cloud right there. It'll come into better view, better focus the closer it gets to downtown. But as we look at the storms and kind of track out where they're headed, it's just this solid line of storms moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour, some small hail, some high winds, and it's going to take it up into Lonoke County, White County. Eventually, it's going to get through North Little Rock at about 7:25. So you still have a little bit of time if you're in central Pulaski County, but it is coming up on downtown here pretty quickly. But again, no rotation. If you just happen to be joining us, we've had a lot of people come and go during a Facebook Live like this. If you've been with us the whole time, you hear us repeating ourselves, but not repeating ourselves because there's nothing else to say, but because if you're just joining us, you need to know the information in the event that you don't know what's going on. All right, Barry, looking at the line and the wind that's moving into West Little Rock, I'd say there's probably 40-mile-per-hour winds at the very least down this line.
Yeah, it's going to be one big...
Stay with it. Let's see if we can get the internet back. Let's see if we can get the internet back. Disconnected. All right, we are reconnecting. All right, well, if you're still with us, I'm going to try to get that radar image back. Yeah. All right. Well, Barry, while I get that radar image back, we're watching our cameras out in West Little Rock, and there's some very heavy rain moving in underneath that shelf cloud. I'm about to show that to you here in just a second.
Yeah, it's just dumping rain.
Issues. There we go. We're connected once again. That is the view towards Pinnacle Mountain, and that's the heavy rain that's moving in from the west. That's underneath the shelf cloud. So we've been showing you pictures and videos really, live pictures of the shelf cloud, and that's the heavy rain moving in. It's about as textbook as it gets. There's the shelf cloud up above. See no tornado. It's just heavy rain flooding out of this, and it's about to hit Pinnacle Mountain. Man, I hope if whoever was out at Pinnacle Mountain State Park for an afternoon hike, hope that you've gotten to shelter. There's the view from downtown towards the west. We'll be seeing that shelf cloud move in here shortly. There's another view from our Regents camera back towards the west. We're just kind of going down the line here. And there's again the view from west, our Chenal Mountain camera. We'll take you back to looking at the storm and where it's at. Barry, I think every minute we go without anything rotating increases the chances that we won't see something rotate.
Yeah, not impossible, but it doesn't look very likely.
Does not appear likely.
There is wind. I'm just looking at, out around Pinnacle Mountain, there's probably more wind inbound, and I'm going to say, can we go back? Let's go back to that camera, because the velocity. Well, the velocity's there.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of wind out there right near Pinnacle Mountain.
I would say if you're in the Chenal neighborhoods right now, you're going to get pretty good wind. I would say 50 miles per hour is not out of the question if that's all translating down to the ground. And I think
I see the camera, just as you said that, started to shake there.
Yeah, it's just coming up on Chenal Mountain right now. But that's the core of the heaviest wind that I see. So everybody that's and the latest one, it's where Chenal
so there's straight line winds really right there on top of Chenal Mountain is what our radar is telling us, and what that's translated to is the camera is shaking, and very heavy rain is falling.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn the camera. Yeah, that is a corridor of wind right there. I mean, it's obviously heavy rain.
Now we're about to lose visibility here with the heaviest rain.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it away.
Moving towards the camera. And there goes the heavy rain now over West Little Rock. It's just dumping out there.
The wind has probably already kind of
gotten down to the ground, yeah.
Then the rain starts a little bit after. But wow, yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, we're just watching straight line winds moving into Little Rock. We're not watching anything tornadic at this time. I mean, there's tornado watch in effect because it's not impossible to get something to rotate, but we're really just watching. We've been watching large hail and straight line winds. For the most part, over the last hour, as these storms have been moving into central Arkansas.
Can we show the velocity product there, James, just really quickly?
Yeah, we'll pull this up. And
we'll show you why we're discussing this more than the storms that are headed down towards Sheridan.
So there's this little area right here we're watching, where it just looks a little bit stronger than the rest of what's out there, and that's just high winds, not a tornado. That's not why I've circled that. I know people, they see us circling something on a velocity map, and they're
Right.
thinking that's tornado. No, this is so far just straight line winds. And see, what you would have to have, Barry, for tornado at this point is you would have to have the orientation of the line change, and you would actually have to have this rotate.
Yeah, winds going away from and toward rather
Yep.
than just toward. But I
Yep.
tell you what, there's a corridor of wind there right at
Right at Pinnacle Mountain, yeah.
Highway 10 and Chenal Parkway.
Yeah. What?
Those neighborhoods there, at the Walmart, at that area.
Yep.
It's gonna be some strong winds there. I wouldn't be surprised to see some limbs down.
Yeah, that's some straight line winds, an area not, unfortunately all too familiar with straight line winds. But you go further down the line, and you just hardly don't even notice a difference in velocity data from being in the line or out of the line. So we're watching the line. It's moving into West Little Rock now. I don't even think we can see anything from our Chenal Mountain weather cam now. The Middleton weather cam, that is. We'll look at it real quick, and yeah, we've lost visibility there. So that's the heavy rain and wind coming down there, and we're looking now from downtown off towards the west, and the storm clouds certainly are building. We're going to get some high winds. Barry, I'm going to look at what the Weather Service has been saying, and we have not checked in with them here in a bit.
Right.
All right, so at 6:58, they were watching to see if any rotation developed over that northwest Pulaski County storm, and they have not. They have not
we
seen
haven't
that
it.
happen.
And that's
so
that's comforting, but straight line winds can do damage. They don't tend to be quite as intense as tornado winds, even a weak tornado wind. But that in West Little Rock, you're going to get a big gust. There could be a trampoline that gets thrown around.
So I just got a picture from Ferndale of some small hail accumulating in the grass from our chief engineer. So there's small hail with this as well, with this storm that's moving in.
Nickel-sized hail.
Okay, so we've got
Denny Road and Waldenwood Lane.
So we've got nickel-sized hail moving in out there. So it's very small. It's what we call below severe limits. But there is some hail out there, hail and wind. The worst of this right now is from Cantrell Field in western Faulkner County, soon to be Mayflower, Chenal Mountain, Pinnacle Mountain. And we always get comments about this. That is actually how Chenal Mountain is spelled.
Yes.
It's spelled different than the neighborhood. Chenal, S-H. That line stretches down to Benton and Bryant, which then stretches down into Grant County and kind of loses its intensity the further south you go. But this is the big line that we're watching. And, Barry, I want to make the point, sometimes with these lines like this, if the line can start moving northeast, you can actually start to get what's called a bookend vortex, and that's how you get tornadoes with line segments like this. So we'll watch this area of the line as it pushes off towards the northeast. I think the chance is low, but there's probably enough wind energy there to just watch for it. And there's a new big severe thunderstorm warning quickly advancing towards the east and northeast. And that severe thunderstorm warning is going to include Cabot, part of White County, Valonia, all the way down to Redfield and all of Pulaski County. So, severe weather safety precautions. Go inside.
Yeah, get away from exterior walls and windows.
Get away from windows.
You know the drill. We have a lot of these thunderstorms per year. We're just looking for any accentuation in the wind field. Is it going to rotate? Is it going to go from a 50-mile-per-hour straight line wind to one that spins a little bit more?
Maybe a 90-mile-per-hour tornado,
and a brief. These wouldn't be long-lasting tornadoes if one happened to form. It'd just be very small, but it just makes the wind a little bit worse in a very small spot, and that's why tornadoes are so dangerous. I still just see
wind.
I just see wind,
Yeah.
though. But West Little Rock, just be aware that it's going to be there, and then through Kamak Village and through central southwest Little Rock, you're going to see it as well, through East End, as these storms come on through. This is the big segment in the state. South of Conway, from around Conway to Sheridan. And it's just marching right across the state. And then we do have another storm that's in southwest Arkansas that we'll watch.
So next up, if you're in Valonia, Conway, Jacksonville, Gravel Ridge, down towards the south into the Little Rock area. You're next up for this storm. We've had some small hail reports. I don't doubt that there could be some quarter-size hail reports with this, but I think those would be in a really tiny area, and then there's the chance for some strong winds. So all of Little Rock's about to get this storm. Areas down into East End, Wrightsville, over to Scott, eventually Lone Oak, and then could be all the way down to Sheridan, up towards Redfield. All about to get this this storm that's moving rapidly east. Severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way out to the east. The northern segment of this line is starting to bow out just a little bit. So this is where I think we're actually dealing with the strongest winds right there. This is where we're having probably high wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and this is what is about to move east into southern Faulkner County and northern Pulaski County. And as this bows out like this, it's not impossible to get a brief tornado on the northern edge of that. Usually it's very brief, but there is no need to panic or be scared here. This is just some strong thunderstorms as we're moving into central Arkansas, and we're here for you. We're not on TV right now because there's no tornado threat. But there's lots of lightning, lots of wind, small hail. Probably not fun to be out on the road if you have to drive through this right now. Barry, I think the part of the line that has the most wind is up there on the northern section of this line. Mayflower, and then northern Pulaski County.
Yeah, coming into Maumelle, crossing the river.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of wind there on the southern edge of the line, but there's certainly a lot of wind on the northern edge of the line.
Right. I'm trying to get some reports from out in western Pulaski County. Friend says it seems to be starting to kick up. Oh, now it's hitting.
Yeah.
He said. So it's wind. And also we have some friends are asking, no tornadoes with this. Well,
yeah, not right now.
Probably not, but it's at least possible.
They can spin up real quick.
Yeah.
You know, almost by the time we get on TV and tell you there's a tornado, it's gone.
Yeah, on this type of
a storm. You know,
that's how.
When a severe thunderstorm warning is issued like this, it's good to just be inside. Sounds very simple, but that is the best course of action. Be inside, away from windows. Might see a few trees down. Certainly might see some of you report some small hail. Of course, we had the video of the shelf cloud earlier, and that may be what you see. Barry, I was talking just a second ago as you were checking on reports.
Yeah.
This line, the northern section, appears to be bowing out as it moves towards the northeast. And so I think that this is going to be the section of the line, northern Pulaski County, southern Faulkner County, that has the highest potential for, I think, wind damage.
Yeah. And then we'll watch from the midpoint of that bow kind of up to the north for a possibility of an
isolated
rotation.
tornado, yeah. So I'd be watching from Conway to Lake Conway, Valonia, El Paso, that segment right there. Not saying there's going to be a tornado, but it's not impossible to get one along that segment of the line.
Yeah, I'm still just wind is just our
primary concern.
Biggest threat for sure. And anytime it's that backward C shape, the middle part of that is intersecting with winds that are above the surface of the earth, and the thunderstorms are interacting, and then they start to move fast, and the storms grow, and then wind comes out of the bottom due to the heavy amount of rain, and it kind of just feeds on one another, and but you can see.
There's that shelf cloud.
Yeah.
We're looking towards the west, lots of lightning.
It's coming over I-430 right now through. It'll come through the Heights and stretching to Burns Park and down through the Heights. And
if you're just joining us, we are looking towards the west. Still looking at high winds, small hail, heavy rain, lots of lightning. Lots of lightning.
Yeah, it'll be pretty constant.
Now, Barry, we have over 1,500 watching us on Twitter and about 2,000 watching us on Facebook. So there's a lot of you that care about what's going on right now, and I'm happy to see that. And we're here to tell you right now there's no tornado warnings in effect. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and it is for mostly high winds and I think it includes hail up to quarter size, but we have not seen a lot of quarter size hail reports. This has been small hail, so it's some hail, but it's not the type of hail that does damage to your cars or anything like that. It's moving quick, Barry.
Storm reports. Are we seeing? I'm kind of surveying social media here. If you do have a storm report, something has happened.
So
just send it
the
to us.
Weather Service, one of
Yeah.
our friends at the Weather Service, just a couple minutes ago, he says watching what he thinks to be several kinks in the line.
Oh, yeah.
What he's talking about is this stuff like right here
there.
at Maumelle. He said if any tornadoes do develop, they should not last long, but that is what you look for.
Yeah,
when
right
you're
there.
talking about the
So if you're
possible
in
rotation.
Maumelle, along Maumelle Boulevard,
See, then you look at this, and there's just
yeah, the velocity doesn't look good, but the
Doesn't look
shape
good.
of that storm looks
Yeah.
a little bit more. It's probably just it's wind coming out and swirling around down at the bottom because there's
Yes.
so much wind coming out. But that just shows you there's a lot of wind with it, whether or not it's a weak tornado.
I think if we're going to see a weak tornado, it's going to be along this segment of the line.
Yeah.
And these little kinks right here, as they move off towards the northeast, that's what we're going to have to watch. Now, if we get a tornado warning, we will have to go on air and break into the NFL draft. We do not think this will last long, but the NFL draft is also on ESPN. It's being simulcast on ESPN. So, our friends at the Weather Service are watching for any tornadoes to develop. You know, they are the ones that actually issue these severe thunderstorm warnings, and if they have to issue them, tornado warnings. And they do a good job.
Oh yeah.
Try to never
constantly
you
watching.
try not to ever have a false alarm. Of course, you hope for a false alarm.
Yeah, right.
But you know, when you issue a tornado warning, you don't want to just desensitize everybody to them. But
Lake Conway, it's past you. The leading edge is past you. Hey, once it starts to, you've had a giant wind gust and it starts pouring rain. Within a minute or two, your risk really goes down. Your atmosphere is being cooled. It's that leading edge that we're looking at, and like James was showing down around Maumelle, there's just a little bit of an indentation in the line. It's not right at the peak of where it's bowing out though, so I don't know. I think
it's gone now.
Yeah.
It just comes and goes. So we're just kind of going down the line. War
Quebec
Memorial,
Village.
yeah, all these locations about to get some heavy rain. Little Rock, North Little Rock Airport, and this is the type of thing, Barry, where at the Little Rock Airport, you're probably about to go into a ground stop and a lengthy delay
Oh,
till we
yeah,
get the
yeah.
lightning out of here.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want to. You get to 45 miles per hour. I think that is the criteria, right?
Yeah.
Below that, you can still take off and land, but there are going to be gusts that are possible that are more than that. Could we go back to a video? I bet you it looks pretty impressive from downtown.
Yep,
Right about
and
now.
we're looking towards the west, and yeah, it's there's a lot of lightning, and you can see the base of that storm is headed our way.
Oh, and Big Rock Interchange.
Oh yeah, let's look at that. Let's figure out which camera it is. That's Hot Springs.
Still guessing.
There it is.
There it
That's a
is.
live
So
look from
pouring.
West Little Rock, and yes, it is pouring rain. Heavy rain and wind. Traffic
Trees-
still moving along.
Yeah,
line.
trees are blowing, but
It's a pretty typical spring thunderstorm right here.
yeah, it really is. There's Hot Springs. They've had a big shower go through, and
That's
This
the
is-
Riverdale camera, and we
Mhm.
flipped that.
I think this one is right here. Sorry, I'm switching around
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, that's our downtown camera looking towards the west. It's about to get really rainy here in downtown.
And we will. I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this now.
So you can actually see the kind of the wall of water there in the distance. It looks real gray, making its way into downtown. It comes with a very strong gust of wind.
Yeah, I still think north of the river, like Burns Park area right now. I don't know if we can quite see that.
All right, I'm looking at the chat. Bad and bauxite. I think that means a lot of rain and wind. Rain and wind, South Conway. Light thunder here in North Little Rock. Loud in Maumelle.
Yeah, coming into the Burns Park area, I think I see a lot of wind, and that's coming up toward the radar.
Yeah, look, you can actually see the rain curtain kind of moving into downtown.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's heavy rainfall here. Gosh, that's a gully washer, and even looking from regions tower, that's really hard to see now. Can't even see into Riverdale.
There's a lot of lightning in this storm
Mm-hmm.
coming into the downtown area right now. Let's check on the wind and see what we have going on. And Barry, still looks like just a lot of straight line wind along the leading edge of that line.
Yeah.
I'm getting very close to the radar now. One thing I will say, Barry, we're going to have to watch the next 20, 30 minutes is this northern line segment's kind of bending back around towards
I see
Conway. That's usually a sign that may try to rotate at some point as that heads toward Valonia. Again, if we have any tornadoes this evening, they're expected to be very brief. And that's just kind of looking at the whole line segment. It's now in the downtown area. I'll put another storm track on this as it moves northeast at 55 miles per hour. Stretches down to about Redfield up to Conway. It's going to be moving northeast and very quickly. We'll be getting to Searcy by 8 o'clock. Cabot coming up on you at 7:45. Little Rock, a couple of minutes. And then off into Lonoke County. It'll be moving very quickly.
Yeah, I'm watching
Near Conway.
Conway, yeah. East of town. It's just a very broad circulation, but it's at the north edge of that, and so there's a little weakness on the back side. So we have winds coming toward the radar site and going away from the radar site, but over a broad area. If that would tighten into a small area, then you would be a little bit more worried about it. I think it's just a lot of wind
Getting
still
a brief
for Conway.
tornado, yeah. Yeah, the strongest segment of the line is certainly what's up in Faulkner County and northern Pulaski County.
Yeah.
We can also check power outages, Barry, just to see if there have
let's
been
see.
any. I know in Murfreesboro, or not Murfreesboro, Pike County earlier they had some. Okay,
Yeah,
so
there are some 288,
so we're at 11,000 without power.
and that's Grant County 517. 1,145 in Hot Spring County, 1446 in Clark County.
So here I'm going to draw the path of power outages. They're sporadic, 11,000 right there, right along the segment of this line.
Yeah, higher percentage in southwest Arkansas than in central Arkansas. So maybe the winds were, and I'm just
We're a little
maybe
higher?
they were worse earlier than they are now. And if you're getting wind right now, you're saying,
All
"Man,
right,
these are pretty
so
strong."
Barry, this is now what I'd classify as a mini bow echo. So you got this real backward C shape right there.
Yeah.
And so that is going to be some very strong winds that are headed for Valonia. So if you're in Valonia, make sure you're not outside. That's about to be, I mean, you could get 60 mile per hour winds out of that.
Yeah, but sometimes we say marginally severe.
Yeah.
Well, severe is there for a criteria. You get to the upper 50s to 60,
Yeah.
it does damage.
And that
It
can
takes
that can
limbs
push down a tree
Yes.
very easily. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
or
wind
wet ground.
gust. You know, it's not going to take all your trees down, but it could push down some trees and power lines. So if you're in Valonia, southeast Faulkner County, this is, you know, it's a very strong thunderstorm that we're keeping an eye on here, and the heavy rain extends back into Conway. But there's probably some very strong winds in that are moving into southeast Faulkner County.
It is. It's wind coming toward Valonia.
Yeah.
The back side of that, there's no tight rotation anywhere. That's just a big wind producer. And that's gonna be right along the highway there. You're just
Yeah,
gonna
Highway
have to-
64, yeah. Yeah, those of you that are in Valonia, you know, just go inside for a little bit. Could have a few trees down in the southeastern part of Faulkner County with that one. Towards the downtown area, really just starting to get a lot of heavy rain, maybe some small hail. And then further towards
Yeah.
the south, this is not looking near as impressive as it was. And we haven't looked down at the storm in southwest Arkansas. There's no longer a severe thunderstorm warning on that, Barry.
No.
I think, remember, the ingredients for severe storms really dry up the further away you get from I-30.
You get east of I-30 and it starts to go away. These storms here are just kind of still in that last little bit of where
Just
there are some
right.
good dynamics. And I think we get out of that as it heads over to Cabot and Beebe, don't let your guard down, but I don't think we're long for really strong winds with this. I think it will start to calm down. Just hasn't yet.
Yeah, so if you're in Valonia, up towards Holland, Enola, Mount Vernon, eastern Faulkner County, you're about to get some pretty strong winds and heavy rain, and it's coming quick. Remember, the radar is not technically live. This is delayed by a couple of minutes, so it is it's on you. It's on moving right into Valonia right now. And Barry, overall, this has been a pretty slow, severe weather season here in Arkansas.
Don't jinx us,
Had a couple.
James.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood right now, but we are
No,
going to
it
have
has
to.
been.
We are going to have to watch again on Sunday. I don't think right now it looks like a major severe weather outbreak, but I think there will be some severe weather reports.
I do too, and I think we have an initial threat of supercell thunderstorms.
Yeah, there could be
that
some, yeah.
form into something like this, perhaps, where you get more of a wind threat.
So
I don't know.
here in
That's
just
a little ways out.
just a moment, we'll have a reading at the airport for winds at Adams Field, because this line of storms is just now. There's Bill and Hillary Clinton National right there. You can kind of see it on the street level mapping, and so it's about to get windy there at the airfield. Towards the North Little Rock Airport, and those of you in Lakewood, Amboy, starting to get that very heavy rain back towards Maumelle as well. Still, though, the most impressive part of the line is what's headed into southeast Faulkner County. It's that bowing out, and you're seeing it happen in real time. There's the backward C that we talk about. That is wind pushing through right here, and we're probably going to see some power outages with this. That's wind pushing through right there and hitting the ground. That is straight line winds, and that's the signature that we watch for when there are straight line winds. So we're watching the Energy Arkansas map for those of you that are living in Faulkner County or southern Faulkner County, rather, the Valonia area. Again, hopefully most of that wind is up above the ground, but I do think some of that's getting transported down based off how this looks on radar.
I asked some friends and even my wife in West Little Rock, how windy was it when it went through? She goes, little.
Okay, yeah, not bad. That's pretty good. So, wind for some of you, probably not wind for all. I think the windiest part of the storm is up into Faulkner County now.
I got to tell you, just looking at the power outages, and I know we'll probably see a few more here, they were way more numerous in southwest Arkansas. We're talking about Malvern, big chunk of near downtown, without. Off to the east of there, a lot of roadways, Traskwood, all the way down to Poen.
So it could be lightning as well that's causing this with the ton of
A large
lightning.
area of outages. And here, boy, I see a few sporadic.
In the Bryant area, the Benton Bryant area.
Yeah, southwest Little Rock, but just not very many. And even up where we said, this is where it's strongest, Maumelle, east of Conway, I don't see any outages at all.
Yeah, even the radar signature right now doesn't look like there's a ton of wind moving through. But look at this radar signature that's going towards Valonia. That is wind right now being pushed down towards the ground.
Yeah.
That's
is
what
it
that
making
is.
it all the way down to the ground?
Tough to say. I
we
mean,
don't
this
know,
is
but it could.
Yeah, that's why the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, because this is mainly for straight line winds. Barry, getting close to 8 o'clock. The sun's about to set. I think as this moves towards White, Lone Oak, Prairie counties, we're going to notice a weakening trend with it, like as soon as it exits Pulaski County. Because Little Rock, we've been telling you all week along and northwest of I-30. Well, it rained all day in northwest Arkansas and west Arkansas. So storms did not turn severe until they reached the warmer air along I-30. And so we've just got to watch this for a little bit more before the threat, we think, is completely done.
Entergy has 4,744 without power.
So here's the latest from the Weather Service. The large tree down, Benton city limits, Highway 35, power lines down as well. 55 knots, so that's about 65 mile per hour winds at 400 feet off the ground above Burns Park. So they're saying that is what's headed towards Valonia with likely 60 mile per hour winds. And Thomas Jones, the Weather Service, is also watching the rotation aloft with the part of the storm that's now between Conway and Valonia. That's kind of what we've been watching on the north side of that bow. He's watching it too. We got power out 107 in Kiel, 55-mile-per-hour winds in Sherwood. So this is putting out some wind now as it moves through Faulkner and Pulaski counties. Barry, I think we're about to see the power outage numbers jump here in central Arkansas.
We could. Sometimes there's a little delay on that, but I've been monitoring, and I don't see them yet.
So there's sporadic power outages on the Energy Arkansas map. So it's not like giant areas where we're losing power, but a tree down here, a tree down there, power lines here, power lines there, and you're starting to see. And there are some sporadic power outages now in the Little Rock area.
Very sporadic, yeah. West Little Rock, 94 customers. We've got one, and it's not in my neighborhood. That's a bit of a shock.
You lose power quite a bit, huh?
It has just recently, not for years and years and years. Central Little Rock, just off University, Shannon Drive, and then Southwest Little Rock, on the north side of the river, some too, but not many.
Still think the greatest threat for high winds is up towards Valonia. We're watching an area of rotation aloft east of Conway. I don't think it looks very impressive right now on at the 500 to 1,000 feet. So that's good. But strong winds are making it to the ground with this line of storms, and it continues to march off towards the east very quickly. And almost, Barry, maybe we'll be able to tell here in just a few more minutes, but starting to look not quite as intense on that north side of the line.
No, and I think as we said, it gets out to the east of Little Rock, the sun's going down, and the dynamics aren't as good, and this should start to calm down. And you love it when the science actually verifies, but these still are wind-producing or potential wind-producing storms. I see the power outage map I'm looking at. It hasn't updated in about 15 minutes, so I'm thinking there may be a few more.
Yeah.
No, it did there. Oh, and when it did, it went up about 1,000 customers. Still 479 in Saline County, 43 Perry, 262 without power in Pulaski. So it's taking into account those few in the Little Rock area now. Grant County 601, 1152 without power in Hot Spring County. Clark County 1,470, and that looks like about the hardest hit area, both percentage-wise and just pure number. But Faulkner and Pulaski, Faulkner's at 87 without power now.
I would expect that number to climb a little bit as the storm rolls through southeastern Faulkner County there. And look back to the west now. It's just light rain in West Little Rock, so this does not last long.
No, it's moving a lot faster to the east.
Yeah, it does not last long at any given location.
Big area without power, Malvern in Hot Spring County.
Now, remember that storm was pretty strong down there in Hot Spring County when we first started tracking it.
Yeah.
So
all the way from Malvern straight down, all throughout the county south of there.
Hot Spring County, south of I-30, lots of power outages. It kind of looks like the line's breaking up as it's moving northeast.
Right. The Weather Service probably monitoring to see if they need to continue a severe thunderstorm warning with that. I imagine they will.
Yeah, I bet they will.
Up into Cabot, El Paso, southwest White County.
Up towards Searcy.
Yeah. And probably not the south end of that.
Yeah, I'd say the northern segment of this line, we'll go ahead and track this. And there's, right on, severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way up to Heber Springs, Searcy, and this is the northern segment of this line that's moving towards the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. It's right on Valonia. The northern side of that could be near Rosebud here in about 15 to 20 minutes.
I'll bet you by the time it gets that far.
Yeah, it may be weakening.
I'm gonna get some water.
So Jacksonville, Cabot, you've got some very heavy rain, lightning now moving into your area. Very heavy rain. It's only going to be very heavy for about 10 minutes, but it's going to come down, that's for sure. I'm going to pull up the observation at Adams Field and see if we can get a wind measurement. We're We're going to add to the rainfall totals we received yesterday in this region. It rained all morning. A couple inches of rain fell. If you are in Lonoke County, you're next up. We're going to be seeing some heavy rain, some lightning, maybe some strong winds. And again, not noticing any areas of rotation. That's some good news. So the new severe thunderstorm warning includes northeast Faulkner County, goes all the way to Heber Springs, and then includes a large section of White County, though we don't think it's going to be a whole lot longer that this starts to undergo the weakening process. Still looks like there's some strong winds on the eastern side of Faulkner County. And strong winds now pushing through Jacksonville, pushing into Scott, and will very soon push into Lonoke. There's the line segment that we're watching. If you're just joining us, this is Central Arkansas springtime thunderstorms. We've gotten a few reports of severe weather, some trees down, some power lines down, and we're looking at 12,000 without power now in Arkansas. We'll see if that number has climbed at all. Still sitting at 12,000. We do expect to see some weakening here in the near future. I do want to say thank you to all of you that are joining us and watching this evening. I've still got 500 of you on the KATV Facebook page. I've got over 2,100 of you on my Twitter page. I still got over 100 on view on my Facebook page. Wherever you are watching from, I'd love it if you would hit like or subscribe. Love to bring you weather information when the weather turns severe, like it is tonight. I had my doubts. I didn't think we were going to see any severe weather after all that rain. But the line of storms, Barry, the moment it hit 80-degree temperatures.
That's right. I mean, the very minute. Yeah.
It became severe, and we've been dealing with that now for about the last hour and a half. So there's reports from Benton, Bryant, Sherwood, West Little Rock. There's sporadic trees down.
Yeah, I don't think it's a shock, given what we've seen there. But I don't see anything that looks like a rotating thunderstorm.
Look at let's look to the west of Valonia. Yeah, so
well, that's a broad area.
Bookend vortex is what we call that.
It's not on the leading edge.
So what can happen is the wind gets pulled back into the storm and wraps up right there, and that's how you get that kind of circulation. That's what we're watching right now. It looks like there is a little bit of rotation, so we'll have to see if this tries to produce. It could produce a brief tornado. So if you're in Enola, Mount Vernon, it's a severe thunderstorm anyways. Not a bad idea to be inside. These things, Barry, I mean, in Mississippi, I saw a tornado in a line one time that was a mile wide. But most of the time, these tornadoes are, 80, 100 yards wide. They're very, very skinny. They're very, very quick.
Don't want to discount their importance. And
right.
We will talk about them, but yeah, they don't last forever. It just make for a bad wind pattern
absolutely.
in a small area.
Absolutely. So the eastern side of Pulaski County now dealing with the heavy rain, small hail, and high wind. We are focused on what's going on there in Faulkner County, though, because we do think there's a little bit of rotation to watch out for at the moment. And this is what I'm talking about. It's right here, just south of Holland. And what's happening is wind is getting pulled into the storm. It's coming back around, and we're getting just some weak rotation right there.
Again, now we're getting out east of Little Rock, though, and that it's going to be an area that may persist on that northern edge of it, but the southern part of this going through Scott right now and headed over into Lonoke County, that is not the strongest part of this line for sure. It's kind of the trailing edge, and there's still a severe thunderstorm warning along it, but I don't see much along it for now. Here's a brand new scan that I'm looking at.
Weak.
Doesn't look as much now as it did there north of Valonia with that weak rotation.
So the new severe thunderstorm warning just came out for a good bit of Lonoke County.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So more of that line has been warned. Still moving northeast and moving northeast very quickly. High winds, heavy rain, lots of lightning. We are watching the potential for a brief tornado on the north side of this line. Certainly has a look from a reflectivity standpoint.
Yeah, it looks like a big swirl there, but you look at the wind product within it, and it just doesn't really look like much at all.
Yeah, it does look like a big swirl. That's a great way to put it. And that is actually what you're seeing. Winds being pulled in, and it's wrapping back around. Now, to what extent that's occurring, looking at the wind data, it's not occurring very effectively.
Nah, just windy. Until we see something more. You're still in a severe thunderstorm warning though, so that's your key to, hey, these are important to pay attention to also. Coming up on Cabot, along 67, 167, some fairly strong winds now. Radar, saying that they could be up into the 50s. Some brief gusts in there.
Yeah, we're looking
this
at
is above the ground a little bit.
Yeah,
not much.
the radar at 500 feet is measuring 60-mile-per-hour winds, so wouldn't surprise me to see some wind damage in Jacksonville, Cabot, BB, or Lone Oak, or surrounding communities, because this segment of the line still looks like it's producing some strong winds, and it's racing off towards the northeast. Barry, 5 minutes ago when I checked power outages, it hadn't changed.
No.
Hope that continues.
You have to see. Last time it was updated, and that was
Okay, so
about
it's still
15 minutes ago.
still a while ago.
Entergy. All right. About, man, they're just
Sporadic power
really,
outages.
yeah, just sporadic. No pattern. Speak of a couple in Sherwood and a few out east of Conway, but just not very many at all. South of Malvern, though, in Hot Spring County, like the whole.
Yeah, there's a lot of power outages down for those of you in the Malvern area.
Southeast corner of Hot Spring County, 1,773 customers. And it's probably just had a transmission line somewhere down there and taken the whole thing out.
It could have also been lightning if it wasn't the high winds that
Yeah,
you see storms produce so much lightning.
It's a big spot though. North of Poen, a lot of Poen without power, and northward.
You know, regionally, I'll take you guys up to Iowa. I mean, they've had a day. Nebraska and Iowa, numerous confirmed tornadoes. If you missed it earlier, Barry Brandt's going to show. Oh, you're right here. Chief Meteorologist Barry Brandt's going to show you some video coming up at 10:30 after the NFL draft. This was in Iowa earlier, Shelby, Iowa, and an Arkansas storm chaser Scott Hollinger got this video of this massive tornado, which I don't think was the same storm that went through Omaha, but it was in this collection of storms that came out of Nebraska.
I think it was the parent storm that went south on the south side and through downtown.
Yeah,
Omaha,
okay, one of the storms that went through Omaha. Yeah, so this is in Iowa, and that is where most of the tornadoes have been today, Nebraska and Iowa. Arkansas, a little displaced from some of the better tornado ingredients. We had a window for some, but nothing like this.
I mean, and there are still confirmed tornadoes on the ground.
Right now, yeah. And Barry, I think we're going to have more on what was probably a very devastating tornado in the Omaha area coming up tonight. At what time do you think we'll go on? 10:30?
Yeah, something like that.
Last night you went on at
almost 11.
The NFL draft was last night. If you joined Barry for the late news, he thanks you for that.
We need all the viewers we can get, folks. So thanks.
Yes.
Cabot, getting the storm now. I'm looking at the wind field within this. I don't see any more of that. Not really any rotation north of Valonia. It's a broad area there. Maybe a little bit of just very broad area over 5, 6, 8 miles of some rotation. And but wind is the big deal as it moves through northwest corner of Lonoke County and up into White County. And that's where the warnings are. And if you're south of I-40, there's not much wind with these.
Yeah, this is mainly north of I-40 now.
Yeah, Lonoke, you're in the severe thunderstorm warning, and there is wind coming kind of toward you, but you get south of there, you're still in the warning. It looks like you're kind of on the trailing edge. That's Highway 13, I think. No, what is it? South of Cabot, 89.
These are typical spring thunderstorms.
Yeah.
It just so happens they're on a Friday night when many of you may have plans. But typical spring storms, really not a whole lot to them other than that. We're monitoring any areas for rotation, not really seeing a ton of areas of rotation. Cabot, you're getting the high winds right now up towards White County. You're getting that now. I think we've still got a little while to go for before the severe threat is just completely done.
Yeah.
The severe thunderstorm warnings up for Cleburne, White, Lone Oak, part of Prairie County.
And they're taking areas out of the warnings, the Weather Service is,
Yeah.
as the storm moves. It's moving quickly now. It's bowing out and racing off to the northeast.
There's actually, look at this, Barry. There's a large area of rain behind what we've seen here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We're transitioning to that. It could happen again on Sunday with some heavier rain.
Yeah, let's get to it. While we're here, we didn't have a 6 p.m. newscast. The severe weather risk, I don't want people to be confused. It almost looks exactly the same as
Yeah,
today's.
it really does. Yeah.
So it's mainly the western half of the state. It looked a few days ago like it would be the entire state, and I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that that'll be the case. But Barry, tomorrow in Oklahoma looks like a big severe weather day. Out in the Central Plains, maybe a big tornado day. I don't think there's going to be much of a threat to Arkansas through tomorrow night.
No, by the time it gets out here, again, you're in that area that's not, I don't think it's in great dynamics. But,
yeah, you see that everything weakens as it moves into the state.
Those would be leftovers Sunday morning.
Right.
Then you have to wait for regeneration.
Right,
Like,
and
how warm will the atmosphere get?
It's so hard because sometimes models say it's going to fall apart and it doesn't, and then it kind of destroys what instability's there, and you have to change your forecast. It confuses people. Right now, the Sunday morning storms are forecast to fall apart. We're supposed to get breaks in the cloud cover, get up towards 80 degrees, and by early afternoon Sunday, we're supposed to be watching for scattered thunderstorm development in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. And right now, it looks like that is going to happen. Scattered thunderstorms down the dry line, maybe some more robust thunderstorm development down there in eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, and south Arkansas. And those storms move across the state Sunday night with heavy rain likely as well. I think we may even have thunderstorm chances continue into early Monday. But that's what we're watching for Sunday evening. Again, we'll have more details probably by the time we get to Sunday morning and can break down exactly what's happened with Saturday night storms.
We need a break already. And
Yeah,
we're
yes.
just starting.
We have, busy weather for the last few days and for the next few days.
All right, now the power outages are way up now on poweroutage.us.
Yeah, so 5,000 without power in Pulaski County.
Yeah, 119 in Faulkner County, but Pulaski County has really taken a jump, and I don't know exactly. We'll look at the Entergy map.
It could have been some North Little Rock Electric customers.
Yeah, that's true, and it very well could be. Looks like an area. This might be Walton Heights. 117 without power. Yeah, right up on the ridge. So
Okay,
it's Walton
yeah,
Heights,
so-
117. And
Barry's talking about Pulaski County power
Yeah.
outages, and that's from this line segment that went through here. We have 5,000 without power in Pulaski County. Almost 20,000 now statewide. And while we're not dealing with tornadoes, straight line winds, they can knock your power out. They can knock trees down, knock power lines down. It's no fun to deal with.
yeah, 5,000, over 5,000 without power in Pulaski County.
Still looking at high winds on this line that's moving east. Although, I really do think it's going to start its weakening process here very soon.
Yeah,
It's already starting to see this thing is outflow dominant, Barry, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
When I say outflow dominant, I mean the cool air rushing out of the storm is actually initiating storms in advance of it, which is what's happening in White County right now. You see the storms popping up
right.
west
so
of
then
Searcy.
The storms themselves don't have the great warm air.
Right.
to deal
It's
with.
not
You cool air.
ingesting warm air, so you can't have tornadoes, your typical tornadoes, that is.
55-mile-per-hour wind gust.
Air Force Base, right?
Sherwood.
Oh, okay.
Pulaski
yeah.
County
We saw
Emergency
that on
Management.
ham radio.
Highway 107 and Keel Avenue, so that's power out there with the 55-mile-per-hour.
And
wind gust.
that's largely a North Little Rock Electric customer. Actually, I think on the Power Outage US website, there's a section where you can go by electric carrier. If you'll scroll down there,
Yeah.
there is a North Little Rock Electric 0. No,
North Little Rock,
4,400. All right.
4,432. So that's
yeah.
a big chunk. Energy is at 6,730 customers. But yeah, North Little Rock has taken a real hit.
Yeah, most of the customers in Pulaski County appear to be in North Little Rock.
Southwest.
Or North Little Rock and Sherwood.
Southwestern Electric Power, that co-op, which is, yeah, so still at 19,139 without power across the entire state. The highest percentage of customers out was in Southwest Arkansas. The highest number, well, as you might imagine, here in Pulaski County.
Yeah, and if you're watching us, we really appreciate it. We're just about done as these storms begin to wind down and appear to not have any type of tornado risk with them, and now they're almost all the way through kind of where these storms have the most potential to be very severe. Go ahead and hit like or subscribe on whichever platform you're on. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And however you want to consume your weather information, we thank you for coming to us as we watch these storms move towards the northeast. You know, Barry, we never try to hype a system up to be more than what it is. And I feel bad sometimes when I say tornado threat today, west of I-30, and then it just rains. And now I'm glad there were no tornadoes.
Yeah.
It certainly makes our job easier when there's not tornadoes. But, you know, I don't want people to get desensitized to the risks.
Oh, no, we're not going to oversell it or undersell it. It's just like us. It's basically like us having a conversation here. So, yeah, you can always follow us on Facebook. You can even follow it on my Facebook page.
Yeah, Barry, KATV Barry.
Yeah. Thunderstorm wind damage,
Gibson.
Gibson.
Yeah, it's northern Pulaski County, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So
Large
northern
tree
Pulaski County, and I would say probably southern Faulkner County, took quite a hit with tree damage. And I haven't looked at Chime-In, Barry, and I don't think we've talked about it here in a little bit. If you happen to have safely taken photos of severe weather, whether that's after the fact, safely is the key word there. You can send it to ktv.com/chime-in. You can always send it to my Facebook inbox as well. Trees down, small hail, any type of weather deal that you see. We love to see what you see. We also report that to the Weather Service. I can't get Chime-In pictures to load, but I'm sure there are several. So let's talk about who's all clear. It's raining off towards the west, but the severe weather threat is over for everybody off to the west of that line of storms. Well, we're still tracking rain and storms down in South Arkansas, but they are non-severe. The only severe storms in the state right now are in Lone Oak and White County, and they're still racing off towards the northeast, with the high wind threat as the main threat. I don't really see any threat right now for rotation. We'll be watching it as it moves off towards the east and northeast, but at least for now, the threat that these storms will rotate is very, very low. High wind producer. All right, no pictures on Chime-In right now. That's a good sign. It's raining. Nobody's gone outside to take pictures of downed trees, lightning. But if you do safely take pictures of any type of severe weather or damage, you can always send it to KATV.com/chime-in. We're really appreciative to everyone who's watching and is a part of us. You know, we can't do this without the viewers, and we appreciate it when you guys tell us what you are seeing. We're watching screens all day. You know, it doesn't tell the whole story. Only someone who's actually witnessing it can do that. We're still watching these storms. They're racing off towards the northeast. Tomorrow's severe weather threat is very low and is off towards Oklahoma. Our threat returns on Sunday. And Barry, if we can avoid morning storms, that is always the key. I think we may have a little bit of a tornado threat Sunday evening.
Yeah, I would say so. So just like always, we'll be watching it. These storms, as I'm looking out east of town, there's a lot of outflow with them now. So not to say there won't be strong winds.
But they are definitely now in the process of weakening.
Yeah, Beebe and out to the east of Cabot, there's still some strong winds there. Southern White County. but not quite what they were.
We've had a few local chasers out today. They've sent us video and pictures of the shelf cloud that moved through downtown. The state outages hanging right around 19,000, 4,400 of those, North Little Rock Electric. If you're watching us on a phone in a place where you've lost power, I feel for you. Most of us have been there. So, all right. Well, as these storms move into eastern Arkansas, Searcy, Carlisle, Lone Oak, we're not forgetting about you. But I think we've said all we can say at this point. There's a threat for high winds. But the tornado risk appears to be very, very low. Now, in the event a tornado does occur or a rotation does occur and a tornado warning is issued, we will be there on air, KETV.com/watch, or over the air, live on KETV Channel 7. We appreciate you coming to us for your weather information, and these storms, while still under severe thunderstorm warnings, White County, Lone Oak County, I think they're about to begin the weakening process, and we'll be seeing, hopefully, the severe threat ending completely until we get to Sunday. So, everybody have a great night. We'll be here for you. We're not going anywhere. We're still watching it. If we have to break into the NFL draft, we will.
And I'll see you after the draft.
Yeah, and Barry will be here after the draft. As for everyone else, have a